Have you ever sat alone, staring at the ceiling, and whispered to yourself, "What am I even doing with my life?" Have you ever felt like you were moving, but not going anywhere? Like the days were passing, but none of them really mattered, if that sounds familiar. You are not broken, you're not weak, and you're most definitely not alone. In fact, if you're feeling lost right now, this could be the beginning of something profoundly important. Go somewhere you've never been. Change your routine. You don't need to reinvent your entire life overnight, and that search is sacred. It's brave. It's beautiful. Don't shame yourself for not having all the answers. Don't rush to fill the silence. Let yourself be in this space. Let yourself feel the discomfort, because this is where self-discovery lives. This is where you start hearing your own voice instead of the noise around you. In a world full of distractions, it takes courage to sit with yourself, to ask the hard questions, to admit that you don't know. But that's where truth begins, not in certainty but in honesty. And honesty is the foundation of an authentic life. You just need to move forward slowly, consistently, because action creates momentum, and momentum is the antidote to feeling stuck. Truth is, nobody has it all figured out, even the people who look like they do. The ones with the polished Instagram feeds, the perfect careers, the big smiles they've been lost to. They've questioned everything. They've doubted themselves. They've had nights where they cried alone wondering if they were on the right path. The difference is they kept going. They chose to move, even in the dark, and so can you. Because the truth is, feeling lost is not a dead end, it is a powerful sign that something deep inside of you is shifting. It's a quiet awakening. It's your soul trying to speak up, asking you to pause, to reflect, and to realign. Too often we mistake this feeling of being lost for a failure. But in reality, it's the first step on the path to something greater. When you start questioning your direction, when you begin to feel disconnected from what once felt familiar, that's when growth begins. It's uncomfortable, yes. Confusing, absolutely. But necessary, without a doubt. You see, we live in a world that tells us we should have it all figured out by a certain age. That there's a checklist to follow. Go to school, get a job, buy a house, settle down. But nowhere on that list does it say, figure out who you are, learn what makes your heart beat faster, discover what sets your soul on fire. And that's the part that matters most. Most people feel lost not because they've made the wrong decisions, but because they've never made decisions for themselves in the first place. They've been following a script written by someone else, by family, by society, by fear. And one day they wake up, realize the life they're living doesn't feel like theirs. And that realization hits like a wave. It can feel like everything's falling apart. But maybe, just maybe, it's actually falling into place. This moment of uncertainty, this fog you're walking through, it's not here to break you. It's here to open your eyes. You've outgrown a version of yourself. And now you lay in the in-between, the space between who you were and who you lay becoming. And while that space feels unclear, uncomfortable, and even scary, it's also where transformation begins. But here's the thing, clarity doesn't come from overthinking. You can't sit around waiting for everything to make sense before you act. You can't map out the entire future before taking the first step. Life doesn't work like that. Direction comes from action, confidence comes from doing, not from knowing. You don't find your purpose by thinking about it endlessly. You discover it by trying, failing, experimenting, and paying attention to what lights you up. Start small, try something new, even if it seems unrelated to your big goals. Take a class, start a hobby, talk to someone different. Being lost doesn't mean you failed. It means you're searching for something real. One of the hardest parts of feeling lost is the fear of starting over. You think, but I've come this far. What if I waste everything I've built? But what if what you've built wasn't meant for the person you're becoming? When life feels chaotic, go back to the foundation. Take care of your body, move it, fuel it, rest it. Take care of your mind, journal, meditate. Reflect, breathe. Take care of your environment. Clean your space. Create routines that give you structure. There will be fear. There will be failure. But don't let that stop you. Let it shape you. Let it teach you. You'll survive every storm. And you will survive this one, too. You are more capable than you know. More resilient than you believe. More worthy than you've been told. Feeling lost is not the end. It's an invitation to dig deeper, to realign, to rise. Your journey isn't over. In fact, it's just beginning, and the best chapters are still unwritten. Let it remind you that you are human, that you are trying, that you are growing. This part of your story, the messy, confusing, and certain part, it matters. It's not a pause. It's not a mistake. It's not a waste. It's part of the becoming. One day you'll look back and realize that this chapter was necessary, that without it, you wouldn't be who you're becoming. So be kind to yourself. Speak to yourself like someone you care about. Give yourself permission to not have it all together. You are allowed to be both a masterpiece and a work in progress at the same time. Build daily habits that remind you you are still in control. No matter how lost you feel, you can always return to the present. You can always ground yourself in the now. Your path will reveal itself not all at once, but moment by moment. And when it does, you'll realize you were never really lost. You were just being redirected to something greater. And from that place, you can always begin again. What if the real tragedy isn't starting over but staying stuck in a life that no longer fits you? There is something inside of you that the world needs. And then the next. Life doesn't give us maps. It gives us moments. And it's up to us to turn those moments into meaning. Every time you choose curiosity over fear, every time you take action instead of waiting for permission, every time you listen to your own voice, you're finding your way. Slowly, surely, strongly. Even when it doesn't feel like it. A story, a skill, a perspective, a light. You weren't born to be lost forever. You were born to discover, to evolve, to contribute, and often, the most meaningful purpose comes not from chasing status, but from serving others, from showing up, from making someone's day just a little bit better. Sometimes, the quickest way to feel found is to help someone else feel seen. You're allowed to outgrow people, places, jobs, and even dreams. You're allowed to want something different. You're allowed to change. Don't cling to a version of yourself that you've outgrown just because you're afraid of uncertainty. The most powerful thing you can do is choose yourself, even if that means walking a path no one else understands. And while you're on this path, don't forget the basics. Another powerful shift: stop asking, what do I want from life? And start asking, what does life want from me? Remember this, you do not have to have your entire future figured out. You just need to take the next honest step. And yes, there will be doubt, and above all, trust yourself. You've made it through every hard day so far. So if you feel lost right now, breathe, reflect, and take one small, honest step.